Today on Us Weekly's reality recap, Tom Sandoval reveals all. We break down all the shocking moments from his first kiss with Raquel to his alleged breakup with Ariana. Plus, we're breaking down the latest Summer House episode. We've got that plus so much more on today's Us Weekly reality recap. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy DeCamp. And Mandy, we have so much to talk about today.
Oh my goodness. I watched the Howie Mandel interview twice in its entirety because I just couldn't get over some of it, to be honest.
I still can't believe it.
Please tell us in the comments what you think about it.
So much to get to. Before we do, let's see what you guys had to say about last week's show. Mandy says he literally has nowhere to go. That's his only safe space, talking about Sandoval. He's in love with that house. He loves that house way more than Ariana. He's incapable of handling conflict and coping in an effective manner. You see how he can't even break up with someone. He has to cheat and lie. He's got some serious issues, and I hope he's seeking help.
Me too.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Janny Boma, who I think also watches our Housewives show, if I'm mistaken, because I think we read their comment this week. They said the two Toms will always be friends. Unfortunately, no matter what Ariana wears, Tom Sandoval is not into her anymore. Ariana is beautiful and has so much to offer and needs to get on with her life. She already wasted 10 years. It's crazy to think 10 years. Yeah. And I mean, crazy. There's rumors she might be doing Dancing with the Stars now. So
good for her.
Good for her. She is getting on with her life, I think.
Definitely. And Andy says, not lazy, cowardly, came up with excuses that wasn't protecting Ariana or love, but fear of what would happen to house, business, etc. Both Toms only care about themselves and always have. Yeah, it definitely seems like after watching this interview, and it definitely seems like Tom is just kind of out for himself. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about this interview that he did with Howie Mandel, of all people. So during the bombshell interview,
seen Vanderpump Rules.
He's never seen. There's so much to talk about. So during the interview, Sandoval claimed that he and Ariana had been headed for a breakup for months before his affair with Raquel even came out. He went on to claim that their sex life was not in good shape, that they started couples therapy late in 2022. And he said that he and Ariana actually started after he and Raquel had their first kiss, which happened in early August of 2022, before Chyna's wedding. So he claimed that the first kiss was after that now infamous guys' night. And he said, we just kissed. It was magnetic. I felt something that I hadn't felt in so long, like emotionally. Like I said, after that, he entered therapy. And he said that he and Raquel kept FaceTiming, saying that their connection remained emotional rather than physical at that point, saying, I was in such a place, yet just yearning for a connection. Raquel and I had become really, really good friends, confiding in each other, a source of strength. He said that he and Raquel have not defined their relationship in the wake of the scandal. He said that they're really good friends and they're not putting a label on anything. And he said that they're not friends with benefits after right now. Okay. Let's all right, go back. Okay. Besides him talking to Howie Mandel, which made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, I know that some people were saying that like his producer is like married to one of Tom's bandmates. Maybe that's how it happened, but still, he's never watched the show before. He didn't even know who Chyna Shea was. Like, this was just so uncomfortable. And the fact that he kept like blaming Ariana throughout this whole interview bothered me so much. It just seemed like this guy was going through a midlife crisis. There was Raquel, and they just kind of got swept up into this whole big thing.
Totally. I don't think this interview helped him, which maybe he was doing it to try to help him. If anything, I think it actually hurt him. Yes. I did, the first time I watched it, I did feel a little bit manipulated. I felt a little bit like, do I feel bad? But then I was like, no, I don't feel bad. This is crazy. This guy cheated on a woman he's been with for 10 years who lived in his own house. There's nothing okay about that. No. Just break up with her. And yes, he said he tried to, but what do you mean you tried to? Just do it,
saying that you planned on doing it in therapy, and almost like making it seem like it was Ariana's fault that they were still in this relationship. Like, she was going through a hard time. Like, I broke up with her on Valentine's Day. She punched me. And then when he was trying to break up, and then he brings up the fact that she was talked about freezing her embryos at the time of them when he tried to break up with her. Like, this is like personal information that should not be put out there. And it is not your place to do so, Tom. Like, get out of here. And the fact that like Howie Mandel was like defending Tom throughout this entire interview, it was was so, so strange. And this is just, you're just not a good person. Like you made up a million different excuses to break up with her instead of telling her just the truth. I'm cheating on you, and at least give her the option to tell you goodbye, because he was like, she wouldn't let me break up with her, threatened to quit the show and all this stuff. And it's like, it just seemed like he just cared so much about their brand and his business and his image.
Brand.
Yes. And it's like, you don't care about her at all.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. And I mean, there's one part of me that was like, why did Howie Mandel do this? And Howie Mandel, he said his soapbox is mental health. And I understand. I think Howie's point was that Tom Sandoval he didn't murder someone. He didn't commit a crime. And I think we can all agree on that. He shouldn't, this should not affect his life forever. Fine. But what he did was wrong, Yes. And I think what Howie Mandel was getting at is like, why is this being talked about on CNN? Why is this such big news? And I don't totally disagree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know why this blew up compared to other scandals that have happened in Bravo celebrities' lives. But it did. And I think it will pass. Obviously it will pass. But like I said, it just doesn't change that it's wrong. And maybe he needs to just go not do press for a while.
Yeah.
I don't, it brought up every emotion for me. I was
seriously brought up, and the fact that they're still living together, that they have to text one another throughout that, when they're coming and going to different rooms of the house, that is so uncomfortable. Yeah. I mean, he even said, I don't really have a friend to go and stay at because I don't have any anymore. I mean, well, you kind of made your bed, so
go home then. Go home to Midwest or wherever you're from.
I can't imagine that Bravo is very happy about this. You just blew up the reunion. I mean, Andy even, commented on Watch What Happens Live, calling Howie the jackhole of the day. And, when somebody tweeted oh, Andy, you have to get Howie on Watch What Happens Live to talk about this. He's like, no, I don't. I'm not doing this. No. This was not a good look. Not a good look at all.
I imagine Bravo had to know if Tom has any hope of being on the show again.
Right.
Because he'd have to tell them. I mean, we book Bravo celebrities all the time, and they always, if we book it through their personal rep or through them, they always have to alert Bravo. Right. So I imagine Bravo knew about this. So it's confusing why they allowed it to happen before the reunion.
Right. I don't know. Unless he's went rogue, how Raquel did outside the nail salon. I mean, maybe they're just I don't care anymore. Maybe. Because I mean, I guess he saw all of his other castmates doing press and doing interviews and podcasts, and which he said, he's I don't, all these people are capitalizing off of, our situation. And I guess he wanted to tell his own story, but I don't know. This whole
that was another thing that bothered me, because it's yes, they are capitalizing, and no, it's not right. I mean, that's his own things to deal with. His friends of, 10, 15 years, just kind of now talking trash on their podcast to get views. Yeah. But I mean, Howie Mandel's doing the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Howie Mandel is having you on. He doesn't never watch Vanderpump Rules, but he wants to get views on his YouTube show or his podcast. So it worked.
Yeah. The whole thing is just, but I mean, I guess he and Raquel really had somewhat of, I feel like they're going to still get back together if they're, maybe they're just saying in public that they're not together. I feel like they are. I mean, the way that he talked about her, it definitely seemed like he was very much in love with her.
And they've been spotted together. So it seems like they
maybe they're just waiting for the dust to settle. I don't know. This is just a very, very strange situation. And it is weird that it's still going on for so long and that people are still talking about it. I'm trying to look back at what else started. They talked about, his thoughts on Schwartz and Raquel, saying that he thought it was so awesome because he was kind of getting back at Kody, which I thought was really strange as well. How he was a little bit jealous about it. And, it's just how he didn't shower for days after the scandal broke and things like that. It's no, nobody feels bad for you, Tom.
Except Howie Mandel.
Except Howie Mandel.
Yeah. But what I do, like I said before, he's not the worst person ever. He's, this will pass. He didn't murder someone, but he's not a good person. Like,
no, and I think like Stassi said it on a podcast that she just did, that it's terrifying that they don't feel bad about this. Like I didn't sense like any sort of remorse from Tom. Like, yeah, he was like, yeah, I did a messed up thing, but I don't feel like he feels bad about this for some reason, which is weird.
Either. And like, what is the point of saying the kiss with Raquel was magnetic? What is the point of that? Like, do you think you're making Ariana feel better?
Right. Are you rubbing it in her face?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. It was just like so much a takedown of Ariana. Like, it was like, no, you were the one at fault for this too. Like, you were the one that's going through like your midlife crisis and, you know, sought out like one of your girlfriend's best friends and had an affair. Like, no, you are at fault for this. God, I can go on about this.
I know we could keep talking about this, but like you said, at some point people have to move on, I guess.
Yes, totally. Yeah, right. It's like not affecting my life at all, but it is.
But it is. So moving on to another story about them. Right. Tom Sandoval and Raquel apparently took a couple's trip to his hometown months before their affair made headlines. Sandoval and Raquel were seen posing in front of the apotheosis of St. Louis in a snap taken in December 2022, according to TMZ. The outlet alleged that the visit to Missouri didn't go well when Sandoval's family declined to meet her. Even though the Tom Tom owner claimed he was planning to call it quits with long-term girlfriend Ariana, his loved ones weren't thrilled that he brought Levis.
I would hope not.
Yeah. I would hope not. Said no to meeting her, though, if that's true.
Right. Well, what's also crazy is that I saw like on some of the Bravo, you know, Instagram sites and everything that Ariana was with him in St. Louis like a few days before that. So she must have like left and then he brought in Raquel. Like, you are such a snake.
Yeah, this is so shady.
This is next level out of control.
I mean, you just brought up that Ariana was there, and judging off the Howie Mandel interview, I do feel like maybe Ariana knew more than we thought she did. Well, not that it makes anything right or justified at all. Right. Yeah. It does seem like she saw this coming a little bit, maybe.
Well, he does say in the interview that Ariana turned a blind eye to some things. And, you know, who knows? Maybe we'll find out more about what Ariana knew, you know, when the reunion comes about, or maybe she wants to sit down with Howie Mandel as well. But who knows? I mean, maybe she did know more, and maybe they were almost broken up. Maybe they both were checked out of this relationship, but this is not the way you end things. It's definitely not. It really isn't. And I don't know. All right. Well, let's break down this week's episode of Vanderpump, because this is, you know, this probably was the episode that we would have all been waiting for prior to Sandoval, because this is where we see Raquel and Schwartz make out. Yes. This was just so strange. It just seemed like they were just doing it for the cameras and to get back at Kody. And it just, like Kady said, like Tom owes her more than this.
Yeah. They should not have done it so publicly where people were cheering them on. However, I don't think Kady looked that good this episode. No. Like, why are you there? You're not invited. And I'm a little bit tired of her and Christina Kelly, like, talking smack about everyone while sitting at dinner watching them, or sitting on their balcony watching them. It just is a little strange to me.
Yeah, it seemed like it felt weird, like them watching the wedding from their balcony. Like, this wasn't necessary. Like, just go home. Like, you didn't need to be on this trip. You really didn't. And it was just uncomfortable for everybody involved.
Do you think she was justified, though, like 7 months after they split, to get so mad about a kiss?
I don't think so.
Not pretend you don't know anything about Raquel.
Right. I mean, no, I guess not. I mean, I guess... she's pissed because it's a person in their friend group, but then you find out later that she's dating somebody else. Yeah. So, I mean, they have to move on, but maybe I just feel like if it was maybe anybody else, she wouldn't have been as mad, but it was with Raquel. And it just seems like Raquel is just there to stir the pot. Like her saying that, like, she wanted to walk down the aisle with Schwartz after that, just to kind of like rub it in. It's like, she's very calculated, and it's kind of disturbing how like mean girl she is.
Yes. And it's also disturbing how Lala is so spot on about hers in so many lines that she says. Like, she reminds me of Randall's mistresses. Yes. Yeah. She says so many things this episode that are just kind of like, did she know? Like, how would she have known? It wasn't even really going on. I mean, it was, but not really going on.
Right. I mean, the foreshadowing, I'm like, Lala, you need to like become a psychic or something like that, because you could see the future, because she really, she could read Raquel, read right through her. And it's kind of crazy. But it was also like Schwartz, like, just didn't I felt like nobody thought that this was a big deal at all. I mean, Schwartz even being dismissive to James and like being like, yeah, so I made out with your ex. James is like, this is still my ex-fiance. Like, does nobody like care about my feelings as well?
It was weird that Tom Schwartz almost felt like he went to James to like vent about it.
Right.
I'm like, find another friend. Because this is like her ex-fiance. This is bizarre. He's not going to have sympathy for you. I honestly think James is handling himself pretty well this season, especially that he's drinking again, but he's not really having these like crazy moments. Because in the past, I feel like James would have punched him in the face. And
100%. I mean, I would have. Like, if somebody like was making out with my ex-fiance in front of me, like, no, thank you. Get out of here.
I agree. They should not have done it in front of everyone.
No.
And now knowing what I know about Raquel, he should have never done it with Raquel.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, even James saying that Raquel seems a bit lost when they were at dinner together, being like, you're just making out with everybody at this point. Like, it seems like James and Lala
can see the future.
Called her out. Yeah. I mean, James knows better than anybody. I mean, he was with her for so many years. It's just, it seems strange, but after the makeout with Raquel, Schwartz seems like, I'm done with this. Like, I don't need this in my life. He was like kind of minimizing it, giving her like high fives and just being like, this was a one and done situation. And I feel like they just kind of did it for the cameras.
I 100% agree with that. And I'm also glad that he realizes that him and Kody are not going to be good friends. That just doesn't happen after a divorce.
Right. Yeah.
Unless, I mean, like Dolores, maybe.
Right. I mean, he was kind of like acting like an a-hole to her when he went up at the end of the episode at the restaurant. And like, I mean, well, she did say that she hates him now. So it's like, you can't be best friends with your ex-husband. Like, you're getting a divorce for a reason. Like, it's not to be best friends.
And you're not going to be happy for them if they're making out with whoever it is. It's just so weird. You were married.
So weird.
You lived together. You were, on with your lives.
Definitely. Well, at least Chyna and Brock got married a year after they, I guess, officially got married. I don't think anybody knew that really.
No.
So good for them. So, I mean, the wedding looks beautiful. Their daughter is adorable. So it seems like they're like really in love. It really does.
It really is. And then we see that Schwartz and Sandy's is going to be having issues about opening coming up, which truly, I think I could open, not knowing anything about a restaurant, I feel like I could open a restaurant sooner than these two guys can. Also, why is that involved? Does she own part of Schwartz and Sandy's?
She's not. She doesn't own part of it. I guess it's just, as bad as it sounds, I think it's just to give Lisa somewhat of a storyline. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's no really reason for Lisa to really even be on the show anymore. It's she's not really involved in the day-to-day stuff anymore. They don't really film at SUR ever. Yeah. So maybe that, I think it's just Raquel and Charlie that really work there now. So it's not really anybody so I guess it's just to give her a storyline. Yeah. But I don't know. So we'll have to see what happens. Next week, we're going to get introduced to Katie's younger boyfriend, or the guy that she's hooking up with. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But let's get to our quotes of the night. Mine went to Lala, talking about Raquel, saying that she's a disgusting swamp creature.
I love it.
Love a good Lala moment.
Yes. Mine went to Allie. She said, I'm ready for any drama involving Raquel to be over. I'm bored. Same. Not that bored, but.
Right. But she could see right through her too. She's just like, I am done with this. Like, you guys are all crazy.
Yeah, I like that she just like walks away now. It's like amazing.
Done. All right. Well, Summer House is also still on, and we had Kyle's 40th birthday party. It seems like maybe like we see the love connection kind of brewing between Corey and Sam. They're vibing. But it seemed like, and then the crumbling of the friendship between Danielle and Lindsay.
Yeah. Not that exciting.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
I mean, it's exciting to know that Corey and Sam are still together.
Yes.
I like watching it from the very beginning. Their conversations, their flirting. I thought that was kind of fun. We see that Rachel and Jason both return to the house. Yeah. I mean, the Lindsay and Danielle like friendship, it almost like when they were having like their heart to heart, it almost seemed like they were going through like a breakup. Like it's, this like, and I do feel bad for Danielle because it just feels like she'd never, like Lindsay, like we said before, she was always like the supporting character in their friendship. And it just seems like Lindsay wasn't there for her as
as she may have needed, and now she's just coming to that realization. I don't know about this friendship. I don't know if they can salvage this.
I don't know. I don't think so either. I feel like, didn't we talk to them after all of this happened, and it didn't sound like they had resolved
Maybe at the reunion, who knows, maybe something will happen, but I'm not sure about that. And then my quote of the night went to Paige. She says, I will be changing my whole life. I have no friends in Charleston. My whole career is there. My family's in New York. I don't want to leave my mom. And I mean, I agree with her. Like, this was the weirdest place to have this conversation at like Kyle's hoedown. Like, you're going to be talking about like getting engaged and like your future plans while you're probably like a few drinks in, and like, where is this coming from?
It also sounds like a conversation that they've had kind of like over and over again. And it's like, we are really bringing this up right now again.
Yeah. So. I mean, it seems like they're fine, and they're still together making pillows. So I think all is fine with them.
It does, like, after the whole like Tom and Ariana brand conversation that he had on Howie Mandel, it makes you kind of wonder about a lot of these couples. Like, are you staying together because you want to sew pillows or sell pillows, or are you? I mean, I believe they're really together, but it does make you wonder a little bit. I totally
agree with you. I think that they realize like, oh, we can be so powerful together and like get all these endorsements and, kind of make a good living if we stay together. You know, I think we've heard that from like bachelor couples too, is like why they stay together for so long, because it's, they're a package deal at this point. So it definitely could be.
Yeah. Especially if you have a cookbook or they have a cocktail book together. I look to my shelf because it's literally on the shelf next to me. Tom and Ariana.
Did you cover up Tom's face?
Not yet, but I need to do that.
Love it. All right. Well, let's check in our social spotlight of the week. Who caught your attention on social media?
Well, mine went to a new couple possibly brewing in Bravo land. Tayshia from Bachelorette. Right. And Luke from Summer House, Winter House, all of the above. They were both at Lindsay's house for Easter, and she originally put a picture up of them. She's since cropped them out, which is interesting, I guess, because I think Tayshia's pretty private about her romantic life. So maybe she asked Lindsay to crop them out, but regardless, it was posted originally.
It was posted, and I love that Lindsay commented it in her on her photo, says, well, this is awkward. So yes, definitely awkward, but I mean, it was up there for quite some time, and it made the rounds, and they were holding hands, and they've been spotted out and about in New York. So it seems like they're new couple alert. I wonder how Ashley Darby feels about this. All right. My social spotlight goes to Lala Kent, because much like all of us, this was her reaction to Sandoval's Howie Mandel interview. Take a look.
Also, like, and it's not that I don't dig Howie Mandel, right? Like, dope, cool, got it, whatever. But what a weird first interview. Like, if my team were to slide into my emails and they were like, Lauren, we've got it, your first interview, the Howie Mandel podcast, I'd be like, what?
Just as confused as the rest of us. But yeah, please let us know in the comments, what was the most shocking part of the Sandoval interview for you? Where do you think he goes from here? We'd love to hear what you guys had to say. And so keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below, and visit usmagazine.com.